Hi everyone, welcome you in our live broadcast. Is about expanding your business in the US. So welcome everyone on the Park Tech Summit page live, and also on our all the platforms of the live sessions wherever you're watching us. And we welcome to our guest Therese to in our session of today's session, and we wish to one of our speaker who is not connecting with us due to a technical issue, but we have to start our session. So I will Therese Gamble, please introduce to yourself to our audience. uh, yeah, go ahead.
I would love to. Hello, everyone. My name is Teresa Gamble. I am located in Jacksonville, Florida, in the United States. It's in the southern, northeastern of the United States in the state of Florida. I am an administrative management consultant, and I'm also the chapter director of Startup Grind Jacksonville. Have been for a little over a year now. And my expertise is helping entrepreneurs at any stage, at any level, to be able to create and repair their systems and their processes with resources and tools for them to be more effective. So it's an honor and a pleasure for me to have this platform this morning to speak with you all of how to expand into the U.S. market. So today I'm going to talk about a couple of things that you need to know expanding to the U.S. market from your industry.
Great. I introduce to myself. Here is Awais Irfan from Faisalabad. I'm the DSC lead, and I'm also to introduce to my peer person. Uh, Great. Now I am going to introduce to my peer from Startup Grind Sawar. He's serving as a director to Startup Grind chapter in Lasawat, and also he's running a company in the name of UFV Tech Soul Private Limited. And our today's session topic is expanding business in the USA. So I'm asking AC Gamble, uh, what's about the US economy? Can
Well,
you tell us about the US economy, how it's going on, and uh,
great. I would love to. Right now, as you all know, that dealing with the pandemic of COVID-19. So the U.S. economy has totally shifted where your grocery person, your grocery clerk, or your janitor, they have become essential workers now, like first responders. So the economy has shifted to the pandemic. In other words, individuals are looking for reactive healthcare items like face masks, gloves, hand sanitizer. And then you have those individuals, once they get those items, they are looking for proactive measures to keep and maintain their health and wellness. And then the third popular thing in our industry right now is pantry goods. In other words, people are stockpiling foods that have long shelf life. And those three categories is the top revenue generating and the top demand needs that's in the U.S. Economy right now. Then the other industries, for as tech, is number four because a lot of people are home now. They're streaming, live streaming. So if you're into the entertainment space, like gaming, if you're into music, live streaming, videos, demonstration of your products and services, that would be your best way to enter into the US market is capitalizing on the video live streaming, email marketing, podcasting, and entertainment. So that is what's going on in our industry right now. But to help you all to get a little specific on the industries that you need to watch out for, a lot of 3D printing and rapid prototyping services is very high
Okay.
in demand.
So,
So,
yeah.
so those was the things that's going on right now for the pandemic. And for those that's looking to do business in the United States, there are 10 top cities that you all need to be looking into to be successful
So,
in
okay,
doing business.
great. What's I want to know about the which loophole in the U.S. economy where we can to the
Can you repeat your question? Be looking in.
okay. I'm talking about the how start our startup in the USA. Yeah, I'm telling that which loophole is in the industry of the USA in which we can start our startup.
Right. Okay. So the
We can
industry,
start our startup. We can initiate our startup in the industry.
right. So to start your startup in the United States, the best thing to do is in 3D
Yeah,
printing. For in the technology space is if you can have the capability to provide 3D printing of healthcare products and medical supplies. That's one. The second thing is for you to be able to provide resources through entertainment. Some form it could be some form of gaming. And then the third thing is to be able to help those who are staying at home, how to keep them still connected without having to leave their homes. So a lot of it right now is basically everybody is in homebound, working from home. Our children have not went back to public school, so everybody is still home. So if you have a startup, think about if you was in quarantine still, what tools and resources you would need to have to still stay connected to an everyday lifestyle outside of your home. Does that answer your question?
yeah. Thank you for your question. I have another question. How uh, we can enter in the any industry that expanding in the USA, in which industry we can take part, like you're saying about the 3D printing or gaming industry. And I want to know about any expanding industry that's not down in the every stage in the COVID-19 stage or in the earliest time. Which industry that's expanding day by day, in which we can start our startup, we can initiate there. Yeah.
Yes. Right now, the first thing I will have you all to do is to find the best states for you all to be successful as a startup in the United States is in the U.S. in the West and the South regions of the United States. And the top 10 cities that you would need to explore and look into is Utah, Florida, Texas, Colorado, California, North Carolina, Idaho, Oklahoma, Georgia, and Wyoming. And the reason being, most of these states, they are in the fintech, and the tech space. They are in the 3D prototyping space. They're in the medical supply space. Those are the three top industries right now in the U.S. market that any startup can be successful in if they can innovate it.
That's great point of the medical industry in it. every startup is going to initiate successfully. Every startup, in our country, in Pakistan, NIC also focusing on the every startup that's focused on the medical background, and they support to that startup and also incubate to them in this pandemic situation. They are giving mentorship to all the candidates, all the participants of the initiative. And another question about the technology policies. What's the USA's tech policies?
The policies for technology, of course, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's called GDPR. It's where you have to have this protection where you prevent your technology from being hacked or tampered with. You have to have certain permissions. And my community partner, Microsoft, they are the big industry leader in the US with GDPR to make sure you are protected in that space, to make sure you're in compliance and that you are not penalized almost between 10 to probably 20,000 US dollars for not being in compliance with your technology. So that's why I stay connected with Microsoft so I can stay up to speed with that information to share with startups, especially international startups that's trying to emerge in the US market. And the best solution Microsoft has is if you use Microsoft 365 Business, you will have that GDPR protection already. Even on your websites, even how you engage in doing business, they have the protocols and systems in place for startups already. I know Google has something similar, but right now Microsoft is the industry leader in that space for tech. And what you have to do is you have to have a home office in the United States to be an official business, even though you may live in Pakistan, but you need a home office in the United States. And the best way to do that is either to partner with a US company that's in the same industry that you're in order for you to be successful. In other words, as a subcontractor. They may be a prime contractor for business, but I will solicit startups to inquire to U.S. companies in those 10 states of you becoming a subcontractor on projects that they get.
Yeah, the great points about the policy. And if I want to know about the tech freelancers, which policies are implemented on the freelancers, those who are working in the USA?
Okay, for freelancers, the policy is depending on which state that you choose out of the top 10, you have to be registered with that state as a startup, as a business. You have to have a federal tax ID number to pay taxes. And each state tax bracket differs. So for in Florida, for me, I have to be registered. My business is registered in Florida, which is CRPC Consulting. I have to also register with the Department of Revenue to pay my quarterly taxes, which will be 7.65% of my revenue that I generate either per month or per quarter. Then once you have that in place, then you register with that state to show that you are actually a legitimate business. You cannot do business in the US unless you register. Do people do operate without being registered? Yes. Is it illegal? Yes. And it's a big risk. And you will have a lot of liabilities if something go wrong, a customer is dissatisfied. So to protect you, your business, and your brand and the customer, you need to go through the protocols to register your business. That is with the IRS.gov to get the federal employment ID number. That is with whichever state you choose to register to do business. So in the state of Florida, it will be sunbiz.org. Each state has a government website for their state how to do business with them. So that's what the first thing you need to do is research those states that you have the interest that I listed earlier. How do you do business with them as a foreign company if you do not have a home office in the United States?
Uh, that's great points about one is asking about how to register a company in the USA. Like you had to tell that in the basic stage, we are a startup, we are initiating a startup, and we're going to launch a company in the USA. So, how we can start our company in the US?
First of all, you got to determine what market you want to be in, what state first. And right now, between Florida, California, Georgia, and Texas and North Carolina, those are the states that you all need to be looking at. Why? Population size. So you got to look at the large population states for a startup to be successful. That way you will have an opportunity to validate your minimum viable product, to validate your idea and your product, to see if there's an interest. So I would suggest on social media, connect with those different say startup grind chapters in those states and validate your idea, your startup with their community to see would they buy it. Is it something that they need? Does your product solve a problem? And once you get that data back, then that will help you determine where you need to start your business in what state, and then go through the protocols I said earlier, registering with the government, getting your tax ID number, register with that state to show that you're an actual business, and then you can be able to move forward in that market. You need to know who your customer is. Is it a female between ages 18 and 34 that has an occupation in the technology industry that earns $35,000 a year? Is that your ideal customer? Or is it a gentleman who is a corporate professional, a CEO of a small corporation that is age 45 to 65, and he makes $125,000 a year? So you got the idea, you got to vet and validate your product and service first as a startup in the US to see if it's an interest there. So that is why I mentioned those industries. That's the need right now in the US. Medical supplies, health and wellness, as well as food pantry, long life food pantry services. And then the entertainment, which would be sports, the gaming.
Uh, that's awesome. Your points. If we have startup, we are selling products in the Amazon Web Services platform, and what's policies are implemented on that industry, AWS? How USA treating with Amazon Web Services?
Okay, Amazon Web Services is amazing. Back in March, I had one of my keynote speakers. She was an actual seller for Amazon. And she stated that there's a lot of protocols and trials and error that you will have to go through to determine if your product is first a market fit. Next, does it fit the customer market that you're reaching? And there are some tools that you can use for demographics. Who is the top sellers for that particular product that y'all selling? How much are they selling that item? How many sales that they're making within a week and within a month? So that way, if you need to pivot what you already have on Amazon, you'll have the data to be able to make that decision with. But for us doing business with Amazon, of course, like I said, you have to be registered with the government. You have to be registered with that state. You have to have the means of getting payment to and from you as people purchase your products. You have to make sure your pictures of your products and services are clear and will attract your customer to buy your services or your products. You have to make sure you have examples, you have customer reviews, people who have used your products and services before you put it on Amazon. What was their experience with it? Because in the US, they really read product and customer reviews, Google reviews, Amazon reviews. So make sure if you're going to promise something, make sure you deliver what you promise.
That's the good points about the AWS services, and government is also treating very clear in the clear mode with Amazon. And we talk about the tax market, taxes that apply on the market. How, how US is treating with them, and on which industry taxes are applied, and any industry that is not under the taxes in the USA market.
Tax the US, they tax everything. You will not, there is no tax free zone in the US. Everything is taxed. And again, that's why I was telling you earlier. It depends on what state you do businesses. The tax rates are even different. So, for instance, in Florida, in Jacksonville, our tax rate is 7.65%. But in Georgia, where my other company is, the taxes is 8.9%. So it just varies on the state because of what the taxes are allocated for. So that's another thing that you need to keep in your arsenal when you research and determine what states you want to incorporate to do business, to look at the taxes. And according to my research, Jacksonville, Florida, Northeast Florida of the southern U.S. has the lowest tax rate for businesses. 7.65%. So if you're charging services that say $150, you're going to multiply 7.65%, and that amount is your taxes. And you add your taxes to your price. Then the customer pays the actual price for your services and products plus the taxes. But a lot of times with you all being international, you can incorporate the tax in your full price. The customer doesn't have to see that. You can put 150 plus what that tax is, and then add an administrative processing fee. So when they pay you, you don't have to pay those fees from, say, PayPal or Cash App or Venmo or WeChat. The different payment plans, you don't have to pay that processing fee.
That's good. We have a shortage of time, but I wanna ask an important thing. What's the experience of you within the USA industry? Uh, what's the experience of you, your personal experience? Can you share with our audience who are listening to us from Pakistan and different areas? And they want to know about the USA industry experience of you.
Okay. My personal experience as a woman is difficult. In the U.S. is very dominant with white privileged races. So for a woman, you have to be very educated. You have to be very innovative. You have to be outgoing. You have to be very positive and know your stuff, whether it's the product or the service. But I have been successful because I participated with the Chamber of Commerce, a lot of the economic development groups. I used to be a school teacher, so I already had a lot of community relationships. So community relationships are very important in the United States. That's how people validate you, get your credibility. So they know you for not just your business name, but know you for your expertise. Hone your craft. Know who you are. Don't be afraid, any of you, to reach out and be speakers at US conferences, because that we need to learn more about the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Pakistan, just as you all want to know more about the US markets. And that is the first way I encourage all of you to do. Volunteer, solicit to be a speaker. at a conference in your industry. If you need help finding and getting placed with a specific industry for a conference, I am more than happy to research and help connect you to the right person. But personally, my experience, I've been in business for 5 years. I've been doing everything that I have done for a little over 30. I have had some ups seasons, I've had some low seasons, but I've learned it either season, I learned something from it, how to do something better. And when a door is closed, you don't get upset, you don't quit, you pivot. Okay, this is not an opportunity, so where can I go next? Because you are the visionary, you are the person that has the expertise and knowledge to solve that problem. So I encourage all of you in Pakistan, do not be afraid. Do not get complacent. Yes, it's going to be difficult because of our cultural backgrounds, but all of us was created uniquely different to solve all kind of problems on this globe.
That's great advices and motivation startups in Pakistan. And one and last advice for startups in the Pakistan, those who are working in Pakistan, can you give advice to our Pakistani startups, those who are on the initial stage, what to do to them and how they can move on and grow yourself and grow with the industry?
Okay, great. So what I will tell you in the very early stages, make sure you write down everything that you've tried, everything that worked, everything that didn't work, even the things you probably had to tweak or change a little bit. Keep a journal and write everything down, even the products, the tools that you are using. Then you would need to connect with UMAR, all the startup grind chapters in Pakistan, because we're getting so much education information, and we getting ready to launch this new startup program soon, membership program. You will get connected with a plethora of mentors around the globe to help you stay connective, innovative, and also prepare you to pitch your business to investors to invest in your startup. So as your demand get great, you can get the funding to help you emerge and expand and innovate. So always stay connected with Startup Grind because it's constantly changing and evolving, especially with the founder who just raised $15 million of seed money during the pandemic. So I want to encourage you, write down everything. What worked, what didn't work, what you need to change, what you need to do different. And most importantly, get you a mentor or mentors that you are a trusted influencer voice. It may not be in Pakistan. It could be someone in the Startup Grind global community, but stay connected. Follow them online on social media, and that way you can learn from them. I have a YouTube channel. I have podcasts. Umar knows I put all my content there because as I find out about it, I share it. So that is the advice I want to give you. Always keep learning. Always keep investing in you, and make sure you do your research and homework what state you want to incorporate in the United States.
So, thank you so much. So I think Irfan just left us. There is a lot of internet issues today. We have issues such facing us. All right. So thank you so much for your time. We have another session on the same time, so we have to end the broadcast. Thank you so much, participants, for joining the
Thank
session.
you.
Thank you. Goodbye.